try it. Just try it for a couple weeks. Give yourself a month and you just try it. And I guarantee that at the end, you're going to feel stronger and you're going to look better. You're going to feel like maybe more of who you're meant to be and not just like this little shell that you've been living in.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
All right, everyone. Today we have Kristie Taylor, our Right to Fitness graduate, and super stoked to have her here and to just talk about her experience with Right to Fitness. Kristie, thanks for coming on and sharing your wonderful experience with the world. What motivated you to start with Right to Fitness?
I was starting to feel really old fast and I wasn't moving very well. And I had already changed so many things about my diet. And I thought, oh, well, I'll try this intermittent fasting for a few months and then I'll feel younger. And I just never really, I was starting to kind of feel like not myself, like an older crotchety version of myself. And so I thought, well, I definitely don't like what I see as far as like the size that I was, but I also was like very uncomfortable moving and I was getting clumsy. A couple of years ago, I had broken my ankle a couple of times. And so that really started me on a path to gaining a lot of weight and becoming afraid, which I was never afraid of. I was really afraid of many things, but afraid of movement and like that I was going to hurt myself again. I just needed to do something that focused on getting my body moving more.
Before this, had you ever tried anything else to lose weight or anything like that?
I mean, this has been a lifelong thing for me, as far as always looking for the next thing to make myself feel better and to be thinner and to be more fit. I lost weight at different times of my life, but never felt better. I just lost weight.
Either different programs or different products, maybe they didn't work for you. What was maybe the missing factor?
I think it was sustainability. I think they were just not things you could just do in a normal life. You couldn't just keep your normal life going. You had to like put your normal life on pause and do this thing, whether it was a program, an exercise program, or like eating system or whatever. And then once that time was up and you got to your goal weight or you got to your goal fitness level, it was like, then you start creeping back into the life you had lived and they just don't jive. And then, I think that was the big difference for me. I'd get obsessed with things. So if I'm counting calories, I'm like meticulous about it.
Yeah.
And it becomes something that's really overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to start because, I know I'll fail.
Yeah. So it was just kind of this cycle that you'd start and then stop and then kind of restart again.
Yeah. And like the really common sense approach, I mean, that you took with me and that the Derek and Vanessa have in there, it's just really common sense. It's like, you still have to live your life. You still can't overhaul your whole life just to change it. It should be about changing your life instead of,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just making something able to continue, not just for a certain duration or a certain program, things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
How did you feel before you started coaching with me? Like right before you were about to start, what were some feelings that you had?
I was really, how much do you want to know about my life? Like, I don't know. I guess I felt like, oh, you'll just check in and make sure that I'm following whatever. But I was a little bit, I guess, anxious about that because I'm a grown ass woman and I don't want somebody else telling me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, I felt like excited to have somebody checking in. So I wasn't just like kind of on my own. This was kind of a mixed bag before we started.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you fell in love with me, right?
Yeah, I did. I thought, wow, who is this little dynamo?
That's me. So what were your goals starting out when you first started this? And we dove right in. What were some goals when you first started?
Like I said, to be able to move with greater ease, to feel younger, to feel more energetic. Obviously, to lose weight was a factor, a goal, but it was never about I kind of have an idea of where I want to get to, but it was never about every week I had to lose this amount of weight or I would be behind my goal. I just felt more like it was like a marathon instead of a sprint. And I still feel that way. I'm not to my goal weight yet, but I feel the fitness level and that I'm doing things at the gym that I didn't think I would be doing. I thought like weightlifting. The first day I went in, I joked the other day, I told somebody this story. The first day I went in, we did the warm up, and then we did all the weights and things. And I was like, okay, that was all right. It wasn't too bad. And then I'm like getting ready to leave, and they're like, no, you have the finisher. And I was like, there's more.
I wasn't
And I was
prepared
like,
for that.
oh, okay. Yeah, the finisher's a little nuts.
Yeah.
But I think really having conversations with you and with Nevada and Vanessa at the gym, just talking to them about like, I'm not a big fan of get on an elliptical, and I can't run anymore. So I can't run I'm just not a fan of that. That's not how my body,
Yeah.
like, it's just like my physicality.
Mm-hmm.
And so hearing from them that like the set amount of cardio that you do can look different, and doing the finishers that are cardio and like mixed with all of the weightlifting, I think that's been the defining factor for me and why it was successful for me so far.
What were the results that you saw with your 12 weeks with Right to Fitness?
So I have some autoimmune disorders, and one of the things the doctors had told me was that one autoimmune disorder was going to lead to another one if I wasn't careful, and I needed to really decide to change my diet, which I had, as far as gluten and dairy. Like I had changed my diet in a lot of ways, to eat more like non-inflammatory foods. But one of the things that I was noticing was that I was having more joint pain as the years were kind of going on, with this disease. And I noticed that I can move better. I don't have any joint pain. I have very little swelling, which is I must retain water like crazy. I don't know. I'm just one of those people that like if salt looks at me, I start to like puff up.
Yeah.
And so you had just given me like, you need to keep looking at sodium, just keep looking at sodium. And so I keep looking at that. And I'm so mad about the processing that they put all the sodium in.
Oh, I know.
Food.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. But I think that movement, really just a more positive outlook. I feel more comfortable. I know this is so cliche, but like in my own skin, I kind of feel like I'm getting myself back.
Yeah.
My clothes fit better. I'm not like self-conscious. I don't pick things because I think I can cover up that part of my body and nobody will have to see that. I don't choose my clothes that way anymore.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Not that I don't want to still tweak some parts of me, but I don't like, that was always, what can I wear that you won't see my stomach, like how chubby my stomach is, or what can I wear that you won't see that my inner thighs are flabby and yucky.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, I don't care what I wear. I'm more confident. I'm like just more kind of closer to me. I'm just getting back to me again. So
that's so great. I love that. I love that so much. How do you feel now? How do you feel that your life has changed? Is it just this like Kristie's back?
I don't feel guilty anymore when I take an hour or 2 hours to do something. I think when I'm sitting around and feeling like I have looked at my phone too much, or I've not gotten up and moved for a while, I'm definitely more conscious of that now, and I get up and I go do something. And sometimes it's just simple, like a simple stretch or a foam roll or something, but I do something that I know is going to benefit me physically, that before I wouldn't have seen the benefits in it. I would have thought like, well, if I'm expending energy, that'll just make me more tired.
Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of like, well, I know if I get up and I roll out my shoulders before I do the workout the next day, that I'll be able to do better and it won't hurt. And, like, it's just, I'm definitely more, I see that spending time with myself and spending time on myself is actually beneficial to my whole family. It's not just, it is first and foremost to me, but definitely I'm happier, like emotionally a little bit more balanced, and just kind of like easier to be around.
Yeah, just more well-rounded when you really pour into yourself. So what aspects of Right to Fitness coaching did you enjoy the most?
I at first thought I wasn't going to like it, but I did like sending you my food pictures. Because like yesterday was the first time, I swear to God, in 3 months that I felt like, oh, I don't want to tell her that I ate this.
Yeah.
But I felt like I have to tell you, like, this is what I'm going to do. And so I think that really, I enjoyed that only because it kept my brain, like, when I would go to eat something, like, I'm going to have to tell Karen.
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell Karen that you ate this. And she's going to say, well, does that line up with your goals?
Mm-hmm.
But I do appreciate the way that you were so gracious about it. Like, even the day that I lumped my lunch and dinner together, you're like, you'll have days like that. It's fine. You can totally do that. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't, and you were so gracious about it. And then it was like, check the sodium on that.
Yeah.
Processed meats, Kristie. I don't know. Like, let's check those out. And I think that part of it was good, because as much as I thought I knew about food, because I have had to like really change my diet with the whole gluten and dairy thing. I thought I knew a lot about food, but you checking in and like holding me accountable with just in a kind way, but like very positive. You're just incredibly positive person, and I think just checking in with you helped me to remain like focused on what I was doing and why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So that part of coaching was really great. And I don't have any complaints about coaching. Nothing.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really, I'm like, you want to hear from me that many times a day? Like,
Yes, we do. So as you kind of embark on your own, what are some new goals that you have now?
I think just to infuse what we've done in 3 months into just normal life. Like, I think I've done pretty well with it. Like, packing my own lunch to go to picnics and stuff. So that felt really kind of weird at first.
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, it's not about anybody else. Like, at the end of the day, when I go home, if I didn't pack my lunch and I ate crap at the picnic, then I'm going to feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Where if I take what I want and somebody says, oh, you brought your own lunch, and I say, yeah, get over it.
Right.
Then I feel fine. And people know me well enough to know that I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. So.
Right. That brings up a good point. Like, when is life not busy? Especially in this, summer is really busy, but then you go into fall, and then there's fall sports, and then Halloween rolls around, and then there's Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and so there's always going to be something or a party that you got to go to that you're just gonna if you want to pack, great. If you don't pack, you can pick those proteins and those veggies that are better options at those types of things. But planning equals success. That's what I always tell all my clients, and you learn that really well. So definitely keep that going moving forward. Last question. So if you were to talk to someone who's like, I don't know, Kristie, I'm thinking about signing up for Right to Fitness, not sure, what advice would you give them?
I would say, I think I said this to you earlier on, it was the best thing I didn't even know I needed to do for myself.
Yeah.
And I think until there are so many, everybody needs something different from it. I needed the physical, and I needed the food understanding, the better understanding of like balanced meals, and I needed the low key approach to, this is what a healthy plate looks like, not counting calories and macros and micros, because that's just not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say to them, for sure, just try it. Just try it for a couple weeks, give yourself a month, and you just try it. And I guarantee that at the end, you're going to feel stronger, and you're going to look better. And you're going to feel like maybe more of who you're meant to be, and not just like this little shell that you've been living in.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. How much weight have you lost overall?
You said that. I think it's like 19.8.
So basically 20 pounds in 12 weeks.
Yeah. 20
That's
pounds
so
in 12 weeks. Yeah. And I don't feel like, I feel stronger. Like, I know I have bigger muscles. Like, I know that my body is harder. Like, I know it.
Yeah.
And so that's why, I'm like, well, 20 pounds in 12 weeks, that's a lot of weight. But it's also just that idea of like, I'm so much stronger than I was 12 weeks ago. I'm so much stronger and so much more mentally fit and focused on like just doing what I need to do to be happy.
Yeah.
I think that's,
that's
I still
so great.
feel like I have a ways to go with the weight, but I'm
well on your way.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.